As Nigerians prepare for the 2023 presidential election, opinions are divided over who will win the poll among the four leading candidates: Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Tinubu, and Kwakwansu. However, the center of attraction going into the presidential race seems to be the southwest geopolitical zone, as Yoruba elders are already at loggerheads over support for Tinubu and Obi, while the pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere, led by Pa Ayo Adebanjo, has thrown its weight behind Obi, who hails from the southeast, against a Yoruba son. Tinubu, some political watchers are of the opinion that the supposed endorsement by Afenifere will have little or no relevance in the outcome of the presidential election, going by the voting pattern of the Southwest, which normally go in one direction. In 2011 and 2015, for instance, the zone voted in one direction, which led to the emergence of President Goodluck Jonathan and President Muhammadu Buhari, respectively. Although in 2019 the pattern changed, with the PDP making serious inroads into the zone, winning Oyo and Ondo State in the presidential election. Going into the 2023 presidential election and the growing popularity of Obi mostly among the youth, it is expected that the pattern might change again, despite Southwest having their son as one of the frontrunners in the exercise. Obi and Labour Party also are making inroads in the zone, with its growing support base among key actors in Southwest policies. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is rumored to be one of the key supporters of Obi. New Telegraph also learned that he is among those marketing Obi's presidency in the north. Just recently, Labour Party appointed a former aide to Obasanjo, Chief Akin Osuntokun, as one of its leaders in Southwest. The party described Osuntokun as a political scientist and researcher with experience in media advocacy and policy research. Osuntokun, who is from Ekiti State, is a former managing director of the news agency of Nigeria. Wow! Apart from this, some of the opinion polls conducted so far concerning the presidential election are pointing to the fact that Obi will win majority of votes in the Southwest. The conclusions of these polls were derived from the fact that the popularity or the majority of people in southern Nigeria believe that it is the turn of the South to produce the next president of the country, and the fact that Tinubu and APC prefer to settle for a Muslim ticket, not minding the growing number of Christians in the region and northern Nigeria in general. For instance, the recent opinion poll conducted by We Together Foundation indicated that if Nigeria's presidential election was held today, Obi would win. The results of the poll showed a clear lead for the Labour Party, with 51% of respondents saying that we they will vote for the former governor of Anambra State, while 25% opted for Atiku Abubakar. Tinubu ranked third in the voter preference poll with 19%. Further analysis of the poll results show that Obi remained a consistent favorite in four geopolitical zones: North Central, South, Southwest, and Southeast, while Atiku was the poll leader in the Northeast and Northwest zones. Despite the odds favoring Obi, there is no doubt that Tinubu is a master strategist and one of the most consistent politicians in Nigeria since 1999. Ordinarily, he is expected to win all APC-controlled states in the southwest: Lagos, Ondo, Ogun, and Ekiti. Also, the former governor of Lagos State may perform well in Osun State, where the incumbent governor Gboyega Oyetola lost in July 16 election to Senator Ademola Adeleke of PDP. Even in Oyo State, where the PDP is in charge under Governor Seyi Makinde, the majority of Yoruba voters in the state may support their kinsman than vote for a northerner or an Igbo man. But in Lagos State, ethnic sentiment may play a critical role in determining who will win the state, despite APC controlling the state. However, it is expected that Tinubu will win Lagos because it is his major political base, although there's a growing fear of a backlash of the 2020 NSAS protests. A majority of youth in the state are said to be preparing to vote support Obi against Tinubu, but whether the Lagos party has the solid and well-oiled political structure to dislodge APC in metropolitan metropolitan Lagos remains to be seen. This is a question many may not be able to answer in the affirmative. The much orchestrated massive youth registration to vote is not convincing enough to justify the possibility of either PDP or Labour Party dislocating the Tinubu political grip in Lagos. The same scenario is currently playing out in Ogun, where APC seems not to be as popular as before. But that does not indicate that the Ogun people will abandon Tinubu to vote for either Atiku or Obi. However, Ondo and Ekiti states appear to be strong for Tinubu since the two governors are of the APC. Within the massive support Tinubu is looking up to get from the north and the few he would receive from the south, it will be said as of now that he stands a good chance to win the zone, depending on how he carefully navigates through the challenges of the Muslim ticket, which is posing some kind of threat. Afenifere endorses Obi despite some of these obvious facts. The leadership of Afenifere insists that the body will not compromise its principle of equity, justice, and inclusiveness because Tinubu is in the race. Adebanjo declared that the group and the Southwest will support Obi because he is the man they trust to restructure the country back to federalism on the assumption of office in 2023. He added that Afenifere's decision to support Obi is because power is yet to shift to the southeast. In his words, before the political parties conducted their primaries, a journalist asked that what my views about the 2023 general elections are, and I answered and said the country should be restructured before the general election, and he followed up by asking if there should be an election, which zone should be presidency come from, and I unhesitatingly said, of course, the Southeast. After the primaries, the candidates emerged with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu from the Southwest, APC, Atiku Abubakar on the platform of PDP, and Peter Obi on the platform of Labour Party. And I announced Afenifere support for Peter Obi. Not a few Yoruba leaders questions why I should be supporting Peter Obi, a candidate of Igbo extraction against Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, a Yoruba man. I took my time to explain that the presidency is not a contest between the Yoruba and the Igbo, and to a large extent, I was able to convince many. But ever since, the social media has been filled with comments that tend to ethnicize the campaign instead of making it issue-based. We cannot continue to demand that the Igbo people remain in Nigeria while we, at the same time, continue to brutally marginalize and exclude them from the power dynamic. Peter Obi is the person of Igbo extraction that Afenifere has decided to support. He is the man we trust to restructure the country because to restructure the country back to federalism on the assumption of office. We will not compromise this principle of justice, equity, and inclusiveness because one of our son, Asiwaju Tinubu, is a frontliner candidate. It is on this same principle we condemn the PDP for sponsoring Atiku Abubakar, a northern Fulani Muslim, to succeed Muhammad Buhari, another Fulani Muslim, who will soon complete 8 years of uneventful and disastrous rule. One can imagine such a high degree of political insensitivity on our parts. We are certainly not alien to sacrificing personal interest in the quest for a national coalition to put Nigeria on the proper pedestal. In this regard, the starting point is Southern solidarity, for which we first enacted a handshake across the Niger, which had dovetailed to the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum. We enjoy the labor movement, students, youth organization, women association, and every institution whose foundation is built on fairness and justice to join hands in this task of enthroning a democratic government by supporting Peter Obi. If we are sincere and honest about keeping Nigeria together in peace, the slogan henceforth should be to keep Nigeria one. Everyone should be Obidati compliance. In the final analysis, let it be said that we have no apologies, but due courage of our conviction that Nigeria can only prosper in righteousness. For me, in the twilight of my sojourn on earth at 94, it is too late to derail me on the track of true federalism and national inclusiveness, on which I have traveled for over 70 years of my life as one of the few surviving initial prophets. I prefer to ascend on the chariots of fire, fueled by injustice and equity. Okay, ARG backs Tinubu, the Afenifere Renewal Group, on its part said it will rather support the presidential candidate of APC in the general election in 2023 on the ground that Tinubu will protect the interests of the Yoruba. Can you imagine? Yoruba people. The chairman of ARG, Mr. Wale Oshun, who justified his position, said, "Let me put it this way. ARG has held its firm position on national issues. As we speak, the position of ARG is that the parties have had their conventions and candidates have emerged. Our position as the voice of the Yoruba." So you guys are not the voice of the Yoruba. Mm. Okay, as the voice of Yoruba to support our son. Well, at the end of the day, the whole thing is divided, and let's see how all of this will really play out. So guys, leave your comment down there below and let's have your take.